today? I hope you're doing well. It is Sunday, January 28th, and it's 3:20 p.m. And you have reached this episode of Talk with the Doc. I'm so glad that you're here joining me today. I know I'm running a little late today, but all right. You all know who I am. I'm Dr. Nicole, your board-certified family medicine physician. I specialize in managing, treating, and preventing chronic medical conditions and explaining those conditions in terms that everyday people can understand. Through my concierge medical practice, my seminars, and my books, I help pastors and their congregations, people who are overworked, overwhelmed, and overweight, to transform their minds, bodies, and spirits so that they can have a greater impact on everyone around them, their congregations, their children, their communities. Thank you so much for joining me today on this episode of Talk with the Doc. We are going to have a great episode today all about the heart, but I need you to do one thing for me real quick before we get there. I need you to go and pre-order a copy of my new book that'll be coming out later on this month called The 12 Secrets to Divine Health. Do you want to learn the secrets to divine health? Do you want to know how to be healthy mind, body, spirit in your whole man? Well, I know you do. So go and pre-order my book. It'll be autographed and it'll be coming right to you later on this month. So you can order that book at divinehealthbook.com. That's divinehealthbook.com. And you can pre-order your copy today. All right. So we're getting ready to come up into February. Like I said, today is January 28th, 2018. And as we're on the eve of February, we know that February is the month of love, right? That's the heart month. That's the month of Valentine's Day. That's the month where we celebrate all things heart. So they've even called it the American Heart Awareness Month. And we celebrate things like Go Red for Women, where we're trying to bring awareness to cardiovascular heart disease in women because the numbers are getting higher, unfortunately. So today on Talk with the Doc, I wanted to talk about the heart, all right? And all month long, for the month of February, Talk with the Doc is going to have Heart 101. So are you ready to go to school? Are you ready to learn all about the heart? Well, excellent. Each week we're going to do something different. So today, to kick it off, I wanted to just do a little anatomy lesson. I want to teach you what the heart looks like, where it sits, and what the heart does, all right? So that every week as we go through February and we learn a little bit more about the heart, you can be informed and you can know what this is that we're talking about, all right? So before we get there, I wanted to play this song for you. I love this song, and it's simple. It just says, from my heart to yours, all right?
It doesn't matter where I go or what I see. You're home. You're the only thing important to me. With you I belong. And baby, I never felt this good before. From my heart to yours, I give you my soul. And there's no denying our love is real. From my heart to yours, from my heart to yours. I need you, baby, and I cannot live without you, baby. I need you with me. From my heart to yours, I give you my soul. I give you my soul. And there's no denying our love is real. Our love
Hey, Jaylene, thanks for joining in. All right, so from my heart to yours, this month, it's Heart 101 month, and we are going to delve in and learn all about the heart, all right? So first things first, hey, Danae, neighbor, thanks for joining in. Thank you so much. I love you. I miss you. We'll need to connect soon. All right, but for all of you out there, I do love you. I do love you all. So thanks so much again for watching, and let's learn all about the heart, all right? So first of all, where is the heart? The heart is on the left side of your chest. Hey, Superior, thanks for joining in. Thanks for watching. Please share this video with your friends so that they can learn all about the heart too, all right? So your heart sits on the left side of your chest, all right? Left side. And it is kind of housed underneath the ribs and underneath, it's kind of protected there underneath the ribs. So let me just show you a picture of where the heart sits in the body. All right. So, can you see that? All right. So the heart is kind of there behind the ribs. That bone in the middle is called your sternum. This one here, that's called your sternum. All right. And so your heart is safely back behind the ribs. All right. And your heart kind of looks like an apple. Okay. So it's kind of a round shaped, so it's not shaped like a heart, you know, it's not shaped like that. Okay, it's more shaped like an apple. All right, and so the tip of the heart is kind of down here by your rib cage on the bottom, and then the base of the heart is up near the top, kind of in the middle of your chest. All right, so when we're talking about the heart, and then I'm going to show you this picture so you can see where the heart sits in between the lungs. All right, so you got a lung on each side, and then you got your heart in the middle. All right, now the heart has four chambers. All right, so you've got two chambers at the top, and you've got two chambers at the bottom. Let me show you this picture. Oh, this is a big one. All right, so you've got four chambers in the heart. Okay, so you've got your top chambers. Those are called atrium or atria, okay? And that's this right here. That's the top chamber, all right? And then you've got the bottom chambers of the heart. Those are called ventricles, all right? So when the heart, when blood leaves the heart, it comes out of the bottom of the heart, and then it pushes out through the big vessel called the aorta, okay? And then when the blood comes back in from the body, it comes in from the pulmonary arteries, and it comes back into the heart. All right, and so when the blood comes in, it comes in the top, in through the atrium, and then it goes through the valves and goes down to the ventricles, and then it's pushed back out of the heart. All right, so we have four chambers in the heart: two atrium on top, two ventricles on the bottom. All right, you've heard of a heartbeat going lub dub, lub dub, lub dub. All right, so that is when the heart squeezes, that's the lub, and when it relaxes, that's the dub. All right, so squeezes, that's the lub, relaxes, that's the dub. All right, now listen, when the heart squeezes, what it's doing, it's pushing that blood out of the left ventricle, and it's pushing it out and around out through the aorta, and it goes to the rest of the body. All right. So when we're checking your blood pressure, and we're gonna do a whole week on blood pressure, but when we're checking your blood pressure, what we're checking is how much pressure does the heart have to squeeze against to get that blood out of the ventricle and out of the aorta and into the rest of the body. All right, so that's the lub. All right, we call that the systolic portion, the top number of the blood pressure. That's when the heart squeezes. All right. Then the blood goes out, it goes through all your vessels, it goes through your whole body, and then it comes back in and it comes up through the pulmonary vessels, and it comes back into the heart, into the right atrium. All right, so it goes into the right atrium, and then it goes from the right atrium, goes down into the right ventricle, and then the blood is pushed out from the right ventricle to the lungs, okay? And then it comes out from the lungs and it comes back in to the left atrium, and then it goes from the left atrium to the left ventricle. Okay, so that's a lot to say. So it's easier if I show you, all right? So let's show you. Blood comes into the left ventricle, okay? Then when the heart is squeezed, it pushes out through the aorta, okay? Okay, it goes out to the rest of the body. And then when the blood comes back, it's going to come back through this inferior vena cava here. It comes into the right atrium, all right? Then the blood goes through down into the right ventricle, okay? That's the bottom part of the right side of the heart. And then it's pushed out into the pulmonary valve that goes out to your lungs. That's where the blood goes out to get oxygen in it, okay? Hey, Dr. Alex, thanks for watching. The blood goes out of the pulmonary artery. It goes out to get the oxygen, all right? And then once the heart gets, the blood gets the oxygen, it comes back in through, it comes back through the pulmonary veins, and it comes back into the left atrium, and then it's pushed back out into the ventricle, and it goes back, and it goes through this cycle all again, all right? So left atrium, left ventricle, pushes out to the aorta, comes back in through the inferior vena cava, comes into the right atrium, pushes out to the right ventricle, goes through to the pulmonary veins to the lungs, then comes back into the pulmonary veins and back and does it all again. All right. So why is all that important? Because that's how we get our blood moving through our body, and that's what your heart is for. Your heart is there to pump the blood to the rest of your body. It's essential. Without the heart, we don't live, right? So. What else does the blood do? So the heart do. The heart also has blood vessels itself, all right? So let me show you a picture of that. So around the outside of the heart, that picture I showed you before was the inside of the heart, all right? So around the outside of the heart, your heart has its own vessels, all right? So you got arteries, which carry blood that has oxygen, and then you've got veins that carry blood that need oxygen. So the heart has its own set of valves, of arteries and veins, and this is what feeds the heart muscle. This is what makes the heart beat, okay? So when you have a heart attack, or when you have coronary artery disease, these are the coronary arteries. They're the arteries that give the heart its blood and that allow the heart to get oxygen, all right, so that the muscles can live. So when these coronary arteries get blocked, that's a heart attack, all right? And we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the month of February. So we got to keep these arteries need to be clear of plaque as well, because if those arteries get plaque and your heart doesn't get oxygen, then that's when you have a heart attack, and that's how you can die, okay? So again, it's really important to understand the heart, and I know that's a lot, right? But the heart sits on the left side of your chest. It faces kind of at an angle like this, so kind of sits at an angle, and it's made up of 4 parts. You got 2 atrium. The atrium collect the blood, and then the ventricles at the bottom push the blood out to the rest of the body, all right? And it's very important that you keep your blood pressure down so that the heart doesn't have as much pressure to push against when it's pushing the blood out to the rest of the body. So what I like to try and tell people is when your blood vessels are constricted or when they're narrow, and blood vessels can be narrow from smoking, from plaque in the arteries. It can be narrow from other medications or things that we take. It can be narrow from too much sodium that we eat. It can be narrow because of family history. But when you have narrowing of those blood vessels, the heart has to work harder to push the blood out of the heart into the rest of the body, all right? And then the harder the heart has to work, the tireder it can get, right? So think of your heart is a muscle. It is a muscle. We call that it's cardiac muscle. And so when the heart gets tired, just like if your legs get tired, they give out, right? So if your heart gets tired, it's going to give out too. So we don't want your heart to get tired. So I want you guys, I just wanted to go over just a little bit of anatomy of the heart so that you could understand when we get to talking over the next month about blood pressure. We're going to talk about heart attacks. We're going to talk about heart failure. And of course, we're going to talk about how to keep your heart healthy. And that's going to be the key, right? Because in February, it's all about Heart Healthy Month, heart health, heart health, heart health. Because we want to prevent heart attacks. We want to prevent heart failure. We want to prevent just your heart getting tired and conking out too early, right? We want to keep you around for a good long time. So that's all I wanted to talk about today was just the makeup of the heart. Like I said, the heart sits on the left side of the chest, behind the rib cage. It heart actually sits right over your stomach. So where you think most people think their stomach is the lower part of the belly. That's actually called the abdomen. Your actual stomach sits right up underneath the heart, and that's why sometimes when you have things like heartburn or indigestion, it can feel like it's in your chest because technically your actual stomach is up near your heart, and sometimes if that gets inflamed, it can cause your heart to feel like you have chest pain, all right? So that's why when you have heartburn, you can feel that feeling in your chest. It's also why when people are having problems with their heart, like a heart attack, they can get nauseated and their stomachs can get upset because they're all very connected. They're all right next to each other, all right? It's just a small layer of the diaphragm that's separating the heart and the stomach. So, I just wanted to give you a little bit of anatomy lesson again about the heart. So you got the two atrium, the two ventricles, you got your pulmonary arteries, you got your aorta, you've got your pulmonary veins, you've got the vena cava, inferior vena cava that comes in. And so that's a little bit about the heart. Next week, what we're going to talk about, let's see. Next week, we're going to talk about blood pressure. So I'm going to explain blood pressure to you, systolic versus diastolic. What should the numbers be? What did they used to be? And now what are the new goals and guidelines for the heart, for the blood pressure? Then the following week, we're going to talk about heart attacks. And I'm going to give you a little bit more information about that. Hey, Stefan, thanks for joining in. I hope you're doing well. We're going to also, then the following week, we're going to talk about heart healthy lifestyle. And that's going to tie into the launch of my book, right? Because we're going to talk about the 12 Secrets to Divine Health and how you can live a heart-healthy lifestyle. And then finally, we're going to talk about heart failure, what it is, and how you can avoid it, all right? So if you have any questions, please feel free to shoot me a message in my inbox or to type it here. And if you have any questions about the heart, how it's made up and what it's made up of and what the heart does, and then I will give you some more information about that, all right? Thank you so much for joining me today on Talk with the Doc. You all know who I am. I'm Dr. Nicole, your board-certified family medicine physician. I specialize in treating, managing, and preventing chronic medical conditions and explaining those conditions in terms that everyday people can understand. Through my concierge medical practice, my books, and my seminars, I help pastors and congregations, people who are overworked, overwhelmed, and overweight, to transform their minds, bodies, and spirits so that they can have a greater impact on everyone around them, their children, their congregations, and their communities. Again, please go and pre-order my book, The 12 Secrets to Divine Health, by going to divinehealthbook.com. I'll put a link in the comments, divinehealthbook.com. Pre-order your copy. It'll be an autographed copy that you'll get, and you'll learn all the secrets to how to live a healthy lifestyle, right? All right, thank you so much for joining me on Talk with the Doc today. Please feel free to follow me on all the social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere. And I will see you guys next week on Talk with the Doc, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday. Thanks so much. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye from my heart to yours.